Namaskar, Adab, Sastyakal, and a very good evening, everyone. We have gathered today for the 2023 edition of the Institute's prestigious valedictory function. I extend a warm welcome to our esteemed dignitaries, faculty and staff members, students, guests of honor, Dr. Lalit Kanodia, who is a distinguished alumnus and chairman of the Datamatics Group of Companies, Mr. Karthik Ganpati, the co-founder and VP of BuildDesk, Professor Subhashish Chaudhary, the director of IIT Bombay, Professor Ravindra Digudi, the Dean of Alumni and Corporate Relations, and Professor Suryanarayana Dola, the Dean of Student Affairs. I request you all to kindly take your seats on the dais. Thank you. I now request Professor Ravindra Digudi to please address the audience and introduce today's program.
Good evening, Director Professor Chaudhary, Dr. Lalit Kanodia, Karthik Ganpati, Professor Suryanarayan Dola, Dean Student Affairs, graduating students, parents, friends. Let me extend a very warm welcome to all of you, including Mrs. Kanodia and Mr. Agarwal. I would like to warmly welcome you to this Institute Valedictory Function. We are gathered here for the 2023 edition of the Valedictory Function, and it gives me immense joy to welcome all of you here. The Valedictory Function holds a very special meaning for our students, as it is the culmination of all that you have done at the Institute before graduating from this Institute with your degrees. It is that time of the year again when another batch of students, as far as the Institute is concerned, it's time to bid farewell. But really, there is no farewell between the students and the Institute. You continue to stay connected with the Institute. It is just that your identity card changes from what you have as a student for 4 years or 5 years to another identity card which is there with you for a lifetime in association with the Institute. It's really a pleasure as you embark to wish you very well as you pursue your dreams in your professional career. As we proceed with today's special occasion, I'm sure you're looking forward to a very memorable event, in every way exciting, emotional as well as joyful. We shall commence the valedictory function with the welcome address by our director, Professor Subhashish Chaudhary, followed by a special talk by our distinguished alumnus and guest of honor for today, Dr. Lalit Kanodia, Chairman, Datamatics Group of Companies and the batch of 1963. Dr. Kanodia will share with you his glorious professional journey and several personal experiences as well that has made him such a successful businessman and a very successful chairman of a very prestigious Datamatics Group of Companies. Next, we shall witness a presentation on regular giving, which is an initiative implemented by the Institute primarily for us to continuously stay in touch, but also to have your support in every way that your alma mater intends to grow. We look forward to receiving your continued support. We'll then hear a talk by a UG representative, Ms. Kirti Agarwal, where she will share her experiences as a student of IIT Bombay, followed by a talk by our second guest of honor for today and our very illustrious alumnus. In fact, every time you make a payment, a digital payment, you will now get a face to the payment gateway that you have made. Mr. Karthik Ganpati, who is the co-founder and VP of BuildDesk. All of you can relate with BuildDesk. He is an alumnus of the batch of 1993. He will share his mantras for success as a very successful entrepreneur and the kind of business that he has created for all of us. Next, we will have Professor Chaudhary felicitate the recipients of the Outstanding Contribution Award The individual certificates will be handed over to all the awardees during the ceremony. We shall then hear a talk by a PG representative, Mr. Shikhar Tandon, on his academic and personal experiences. This will be followed by a talk by Mr. Naman Agarwal, the overall coordinator of the Student Alumni Relations Cell, who shall present the year song and provide an overview of the SARC, the Student Alumni Relationship Cell activities. We will then we'll then have a vote of thanks by Professor Surya Dula, followed by a few cultural performances by the graduating batch. So, as you can see, there is a very exciting evening for you in store, and I welcome all of you to this exciting event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Guri. I now request our director, Professor Subhashish Chaudhary, to please deliver the welcome address.
Good evening, Dr. Kanodia, Mr. Kartik Ganpati, Professor Ravi Guri, Professor Suryadullah, other colleagues here, and most of it is the students. This evening we have gathered for probably one of the nicest thing as a director I can probably say, where you are coming to a point which is formal closure of the journey that you made through IIT Bombay. You came here with a dream to be a IITian, and of course to be precise, from IIT Bombay, and now you'll be going out as with the degree. But as Professor Guri says, that you have been here mostly for, let's say, some of you 2 years, some of them 3 years, some of them 4 years, or maybe PhD a little longer, whatever may be the journey, okay, that's of limited duration. But from now onwards, okay, you are an alumni for the rest of your life. And this door, this everything, whether the main gate, next time you come, you don't have to really give your every time checking in through the gate, because you are a proud member of IIT Bombay alumni. Kindly ensure that you do put your address and everything properly, so that no matter where you are, okay, we can be in touch with you, and same way, you will be here. Normally, at this particular gathering, we try to bring our, somebody to talk to you who has gone through a similar kind of journey at different time. We have two of our very distinguished alumni, okay. One of them, of course, much earlier, many of you are not even born that time, okay, Dr. Lalit Kanodia. And the other one is still quite, I would not say that young, but, much younger compared to Dr. Kanodia, and who has also been one of the most successful entrepreneurs of our current time. And the reason to bring them here is to show that today you see the success in them, but the success doesn't come cheaply. It's a hard labor. The kind of education that IIT Bombay and provide, and of course their own zeal to do something, to stick to the goal, and that got them where they are today. So our sincere congratulations to both of them for having gone through this grind and finally being some of the most successful alumni that IIT Bombay produced. And they would be talking to you about their life journey so that you can learn from them. As IIT Bombay is concerned, some of you know that we are trying to see that we make your academic and other kind of ambience in the IIT Bombay campus as I would say, modern and as useful to you as possible. We do have problems, you know, that accommodation in the campus is probably one of the toughest thing because we are working and it's still difficult, okay? But one of the main thing that we tried, and I think this year was the first time we did, was the maker space. And if you ask some of the first year students, okay, of undergraduate, many of them, I talked to them, and when they were showing their, the end of the project that they did, I saw the spark in them saying that this is a first semester student, without knowing anything about complex concepts, they could actually come up on their own to something which actually works. So that's a great learning as an engineer. And I think, and if I can tell you also, the entire maker space, this was conceptualized with the active support and financial help from some of our alumni. And because of that, what they have done, what the need they had, actually they are giving it back to you. And I hope this would help the next generation of students to be a lot more empowered, lot more proficient, and when they go out, they would be even more successful. We take pride as IIT Bombay administration that we produce some of the best alumni in the world. And if you ask some of the very senior people, you will see that how they actually work and to make sure that they create an impact, be it in the financial sector, be it on the, heading some of the largest corporation, to some of even the, setting up their own company, whether it's a manufacturing or service. Many of them are providing yeoman service to the country in terms of how many jobs they create, how much wealth they create. And we expect that all of you someday would come to at the similar level. And as you know, the IIT, those days graduation used to be like 400 or 500. So this particular thing as, the auditorium was more than enough. But now it's not. And you know that on second, you will have a new form of convocation, which is commencement, right? So that's how I think it has been. So please do join that, because that will be the first time in my, I think, understanding that any Indian university has done that, so that you don't have to wait till August, and when you are not able to even come with your family members and others to come have a picture, which is of course a lifetime remembrance of this campus. Since we have more numbers, we expect that the impact of IIT will be a lot more towards the country in creating more jobs, more manpower. At the same time, I would also say that there is also something from your side, there is something called the act of giving back, okay? So we tried, when we are here, you were young, and as a true alma mater, IIT Bombay tried to handhold you to make sure that you stand up on your feet, and that's what IIT Bombay provided. Now, when you stand up on your own feet, after that, when your alma mater, your mother becomes weak and infirm, it's your job to help them. And in that prospect, we would expect that all of you to come back and give back to IIT in whatever way you can. Because that, when you give back to IIT, it goes back to the next generation of students who would be coming. But I must also tell you that just saying that giving back is not necessarily what it is. Once I was in Bangalore, and a very young graduate, not from IIT Bombay but somewhere else, said, "Sir, I know since you are IIT Bombay director, I would like to say that I want to give back." I said, "Oh, very nice. Okay, I mean, you sure, that would be wonderful that if you can give back." Then I said, then I put my hand there. I said, "Give me now." Okay. Then he says, "But what do I give you?" I said, you just said that give back. I want to give back. So what do you have that you want to give back? So this is the question that, I am asking today. Only when you have something, then you give back. Now, as a fresh graduate, right now, you don't have anything. You will have to work to build your career, build your profession, okay? Build the industry, build whatever the corporation that you can do, okay? Or be the best professor in the world, right? And then you have something that you can give back to your alma mater. And we'll be looking forward to all of you coming back, connecting to your alma mater, and giving back to us. So today we are here to listen to some of our, distinguished alumni, so I'll not take any more time. I would just like to wish you all the best in your life. Whenever you step out of the campus, be the best that you could be. Thank you and all the best.
Thank you, Professor Chaudhary, for the thoughtful words. We have with us the first guest of honor for today, Dr. Lalit Kanodia, who is a renounced business leader and a visionary entrepreneur. As the founder chairman of Datamatics Group, which is a leading global IT solutions and services provider, Dr. Kanodia has established himself as a thought leader and has made a significant impact on the industry. I would like to invite Mr. Kanodia to please share a few words with the audience.
Director Dr. Subhashish Chaudhary, members of the faculty, Mr. Ganpati, students of this great institute, ladies and gentlemen, I feel extremely honored to be invited to deliver this valedictory address to all of you today. Once I am on the mic, I tend to keep talking all the time, so I may, with apologies, exceed the time limit given to me. But I must tell you, when I am with students like you, my age goes down by 20 years. So I feel energized and I feel younger once again. I did not know the format of this convention. I thought there may be some questions and answers. So I have brought with me my wife, my dear wife, Asha, who's sitting here, and Mr. Vinay Agarwal, who's also sitting here. Asha is also an MIT, and she studied at MIT, by the way. And Vinay Agarwal, a student in the USA, and the Chief Financial Officer of TCS for 12 years, and a director in our company. Before I commence my address, I must first bow in respect to all the faculty of this great institute who have shaped my career. I am what I am because of what I was taught when I was at IIT Bombay. Professor Chaudhary tells me that out of the top 50 JEE people who graduate or who pass that exam, 90% choose IIT Bombay. It reflects the quality of the students that this institute has. I am therefore addressing an elite, highly educated and clever audience, but you must remember that with great knowledge comes great responsibility. I would like to begin by congratulating the students who will be receiving their degree very shortly. But I must remind you, this is the day when one chapter ends and a new chapter begins. The possibilities are endless, I can assure you, absolutely endless. I was a student of the second batch of this institute and the first batch that came to this lovely campus at Powai. During the time that I was a student, the main building came up, all the departments came up, this hall was built at that time. And I have wonderful memories of this lovely place. 550 acres in Bombay is unprecedented. So I think you have great assets that you have been used to. The institute has been very gracious to me, I must tell you that, and I acknowledge that. 7 members of my generation in my family were admitted and graduated from IIT Bombay. I was invited by Professor Chaudhary to address the convocation when the PhD students got their degree a few years ago. I was also fortunate to be one of the few alumni who were awarded the Distinguished Alumnus Award for the first time that the Institute gave that award. So I must acknowledge that the Institute has been extremely kind to me. My address today is broken up into 3 parts. First, I would like to explain why each one of you have a great opportunity which no other generation had, and a glorious, wonderful career in front of you. Second, I would like to list the reasons why information technology has put India on the map of the world, and the lesson that we can learn from that. Third, I would like to give a few words of advice to the students relating to the future career who are going to graduate very shortly. I envy all the students who will receive their degree shortly. I wish I was seated today in the audience rather than giving you this speech, since I believe all of you are blessed. And let me tell you why. As we know, India produced about 25% of the world GDP in 1750, 25%. Today, with a GDP of about $3.5 trillion, we account for a small 3.5% of the world GDP, which for the first time last year exceeded $100 trillion. So we've slid from 25% to 3.5%. This steep decline in GDP has been due to the reasons that we all know, namely invaders who came to India and looted us, and finally the overseas rule of India. You now have an opportunity that India has not witnessed for the last 1,000 years. I repeat, you will have an opportunity that nobody has had for the last 1,000 years. Going forward, you will see the most exciting 25 years in India's history, which is why I envy you. This is also why a great responsibility rests on your broad shoulders. Let me tell you why the next 25 years will be the most exciting and challenging years that all of us will witness going forward. Career progression is directly related to opportunity. There's no opportunity you can't progress. It's always related to opportunity. And this in turn depends on the growth of the nation's economy. India is likely to be the leader in growth across all nations for many years to come. And this is why all of you can look forward to a wonderful, wonderful career ahead of you. More than half the students who graduated with me in 1963 went abroad, mainly to the US. Only about 10% came back. Not because they were less patriotic, but because there were very few opportunities at that time, I was within the 10% that came back. Though I was at the top of my class in the graduating class at MIT where I was a student. I was given the opportunity to start and head a company for the Tata Group, which is one of the reasons I came back, namely Tata Consultancy Services. So I set that company up and headed it for a few years before I started my own company. Fortunately, both opportunities and salaries have now escalated, and the starting salary of 50 lakhs a year is not very unusual. So I think you are very, very fortunate in many ways. In the past 9 years, India has leapfrogged from rank number 10 to rank number 5 as measured by GDP across all nations. Our rank will improve to number 4 in the next 2 years, since we will, I'm sure, overtake Germany. And 6 years thereafter, we will overtake Japan. Therefore, in the next 9 or 10 years, India's rank will become number 3 worldwide. Our Prime Minister Modi expects that India will become a developed nation in the next 25 years, which is why you have 25 years ahead of you. You're all blessed. That's one of the reasons you are blessed. So you'll witness this enormous change that lies ahead of you. Measured by purchasing power parity, which is a better reflection of GDP, India already ranks number 3, and I'm confident that India will have the second highest PPP in the world soon thereafter. Let me give you some statistics. I'm very fond of statistics. Power generation capacity in India when we were independent, 1947, was 1.26 gigawatt. I repeat, 1.26 gigawatt. Our power station in Chembur, which Tata have, is half a gigawatt. So 3 times that, all of India. So that's what it was. Today, it's 410 gigawatt. And 40% of this power comes from non-fossil fuels. And we will get to 500 gigawatt from non-fossil fuels by 2030. Telephones. There's a waiting line of 10 years, 20 years to get a phone. There are only 10 lakh phones in 1980. Today there are 100 crore phones. Even the beggar has a phone in his pocket, if you notice. Look at the change that has taken place. We are urbanizing very rapidly. 1.5 crore people migrate from villages to cities every year. And this holds the key to economic development. As in the USA, only 2% of the population lives in villages. In India, more than 50% live in villages today. We are a democracy with over 90 crore registered voters, thereby giving each one of you an equal opportunity to be in the power, to rule the country. We are perhaps the most adept nation in the use of digital technology. We consume more per capita mobile data than any other country in the world, including the United States of America. And about 40% of the world's real-time transactions now happen in India. So you can see you are faced with a great, great opportunity ahead of you. In 2022, India added one unicorn. A unicorn is a company with more than 8,000 crores market cap. Every 9 days. And we now add more unicorns every year than every other country in the world, demonstrating our entrepreneurial skills. Our exports in the last financial year exceeded $750 billion, making us a valuable country in the global supply chain. We are consciously implementing a business-friendly environment. You can see that every day some change takes place to encourage entrepreneurs. In today's world, I believe economic growth depends on 4 factors. First, infrastructure. 2, human resources and energy. 3rd, capital. And lastly, 4, education, technology, and government policy. All these 4 need to be dovetailed into an integral whole by the application of economic theory. Let us quickly examine these 4 factors. Let's talk about infrastructure. We are developing infrastructure very rapidly. We have the land. We build about 30 kilometers of roads per day. Last year we built 29 kilometers per day, by the way, in 21-22. And we will hope to build 2 lakh kilometers of roads by 2025. Our recent budget announced building 50 additional airports. We shall have 220 airports in India by 2025 compared to 137 today. And our communications has become world class thanks to optic fiber and thanks to 5G technology that we are adapting. Electricity now reaches every village. Let's now talk of human resources and energy. We have the largest population in the world, 1.4 billion. More important, we are enjoying a demographic dividend as 1 billion are under the age of 35, which makes us the youngest country by age in the world. And I believe we'll continue to remain the youngest nation for the next 25 years. So I repeat, 25 years that you are going to face or you are going to be here for your career will be very, very fruitful to all of you. Our installed electric generation capacity has increased 300-fold after independence. And we are now the 3rd largest producer of electricity in the world. Let's talk of capital briefly. Our banks are flush with funds and foreign direct investment is flowing in. Even during COVID, in 1 year, in 2022, we received FDI of $80 billion from 162 countries, which is the highest in the world. Our foreign exchange reserves now are about $600 billion. India today has over 3,000, I repeat, 3,000 venture capital companies who are willing to finance startups, even though this could potentially result in a loss of capital for them. When I graduated in 1963, there was not even one venture capital, not even one. So that one has now exploded to 3,500. There's a direct correlation of education with per capita income. India cannot be an exception. Education forms the backbone of all developed countries. Our literacy has leapfrogged from 16%, only 16% in 1941 to 80% today. With a little push, I hope all of us will become educated and we'll have 100% literacy. India has been the cradle of education. And long ago, when Ram lived, our scriptures say, he and his brothers were sent to the ashram or boarding school of Guru Vashisht, as we all know. Later, Krishna too went to school when he made friends with a poor man's son, Sudama. We have 2 of the oldest universities in the world, Takshila and Nalanda, and both had about 10,000 students from all over the world that study there. And Chanakya or Kautilya, who wrote the first book on economics, titled Arthashastra, later became Prime Minister and the Chandragupta Maurya professor at Takshila. He was a professor at Takshila. So I hope some of our faculty members here become Prime Minister of India, because they can bring knowledge to that position. India now has over 1,000 universities and about 40,000 colleges. These include our 23 IITs and 20 IIMs. We have made very rapid technological process thanks to institutions such as the Atomic Energy, our national laboratories, ISRO, DRDO, and of course our IITs. we now have the ability to design, develop, and build cars. A lot of the cars that you see on the road here are designed in India. Trains. You've seen trains being designed in India now. Planes, rockets, missiles, ships, submarines, and aircraft carriers. So we have gone a long, long way in economic development. We are rapidly becoming self-dependent, or Atmanirbhar, as our Prime Minister says, which is essential since we constitute 17% of the world's population. The economic mistakes that we've made up to 1991 have largely been corrected. We are reducing inequality and are following the path of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, and Sabka Vishwas, which I believe in. It's a very strong message that our Prime Minister is giving us. This is why you are blessed. I repeat, this is why you are blessed. You are very, very fortunate. Our IITs have made a very significant contribution. And I must admit that I'm a little perplexed. I mentioned this to Professor Chaudhary, that why they cannot travel what I call the last mile. What is the last mile? The quality of the students admitted in IITs, I believe the studies show, exceeds that admitted in the best universities in the USA. Many studies have shown that. Then why is it that we don't produce Nobel laureates? Why is it that IIT does not rank in the top 250 institutes of the world? Why is it that we don't produce political leaders like the Ivy League or Oxford and Cambridge? The Ivy League colleges in the USA have produced 16 of the 46 presidents of the United States. 1/3 of the presidents of the United States have come from colleges in the Ivy League. And 42 of the 56 prime ministers of the UK have come from only 3 high schools, Eton, Harrow, and Westminster. So these are some very startling statistics. I see no reason why IIT cannot play a similar role. We should produce a large number of successful entrepreneurs. MIT and Harvard alumni have started and managed companies that account for, hold your breath, 25% of the US GDP. So there is no reason why all the boys here cannot do the same thing. You can all become very, very successful. Let me now spend a few minutes on information technology. One of the outstanding successes of India has been its performance in the information technology sector. There are several lessons to be learned from this. India's information technology started from a project report that I wrote as a fresh MBA student for the Tatas, saying that you must start something in the computer field, 65. And then, of course, they invited me to start this company for them. So I came back from the United States, and 1967, I started TCS at that time, 1967, and headed it. And then, of course, I'm from the Rajasthan family. The entrepreneur bug is within me. And I therefore left and started my own company, which is a data management group, which is now about 10,000 crores, all the companies put together. So we've been reasonably successful. Now, why did IT succeed? Let me give you some reasons which can be used for the other sectors. First, the government declared 10-year tax holiday on profits on IT exports. And this gave a strong impetus to the industry. Then the government started what is called the technology parks. If you were in the technology park, there are a lot of concessions available to the industry and made a huge difference to them. For instance, the government of Maharashtra doubled the FSI for IT companies. I'll just give one example. Datamatics, or I, set up the first dedicated satellite link which could log a computer on to a computer in the United States to AT&T Bell Labs. And this gave a huge impetus Because sitting in Bombay, you could develop software in a company in the United States of America. Initially, most of the companies were located in Mumbai, but quickly spread to Bangalore, or Mangaluru now, Chennai, Hyderabad, Delhi, etc. The industry set up a trade association, NASSCOM, which was very proactive, lobbied the government, set up a framework, and was very, very valuable to that business. The industry was largely headed by entrepreneurs and technocrats. Even today, if you see, there's Narayan Murthy, or you say Azim Premji, or all the names, they're all technocrats. So I think it made a huge difference. And the education system kept pace with IT. There are more IT graduates that come out of the education system in India than anywhere else in the world. And the population of IT professionals in India exceeds that in any other country of the world. So it made a huge problem. Then, of course, the Y2K stepped in, and because of Y2K, the Americans opened up the H-1B visa, and there's a huge, huge opportunity that which India had in front of it. And NASSCOM has now set a $500 billion target for the software industry, which currently is $250 billion. Some of the biggest IT companies are now headed by Indians, either as CEO or as chairman. This includes Microsoft, Google, Adobe, IBM, and now SAP. SAP has appointed an Indian as the chairman. And this is giving very heightened visibility to India. We are now the largest exporter of software services in the whole world. Consequently, IT now contributes 7% of India's GDP, and the industry employs over 5 million professionals. And this, if you translate, comes to $50,000 per person per year. And if all workmen in India could earn $50,000, our GDP would now be $40 trillion, which is the largest in the world. So this has set an example for the country. If you work like a well-knit orchestra, the business, the banks, the entrepreneurs, so education, if you work as a well-knit orchestra, we can be world leaders in anything that we choose. Some of the sectors that I think India can become leaders in, because of many reasons. Powder milk. There's the largest cow population in the world. Now, milk cannot be exported, but powder milk can be exported. Two-wheelers. We produce the largest number of two-wheelers in the world today. Small cars, manganese-based products, textiles, and bajra. So I think there's a huge opportunity ahead of this country. If we had done the same thing as we had done in IT for the CA, the chartered accountancy field, we would have been the largest country accounting talent, which we never did that, because there was a limit of 10 partners for a chartered accountant firm, which limited the size of that business. So it's very unfortunate, I think. So the government has a great role and a great opportunity in front of them. Let me now, in my final pass, give you a few words of advice for your future career, which I hope will help you. First, please dream. I'm not saying dream at night, Dream in the day. So please dream. Please set a goal. If you don't set a goal, there's nowhere you'll go. Please set a goal for yourself. Be ambitious. I'm going to be there. Be ambitious. Very important. Display passion. Passion is so important. If you read the books by Lou Gerstner, even Jack Welch, they repeatedly use the word passion. So be passionate. Persist. Don't give up. Life is not that easy. So you continue to push whatever you dream about. Persist. Do your karma, like the Gita. So do your karma is very important. Do what makes you happy. So whatever you are happy with, do it. Don't worry. Embrace change. The world is continuously changing. So embrace change. Do the right thing. It's so important. Do the right thing. Keep learning. See, in today's world, unfortunately, despite your wonderful education, you get obsolete very quickly. So please keep learning. Keep pride. Have pride in yourself and in your country. I think it's very important to have that. And lastly, believe in what you do. So these are a few pieces of advice that I would like all of you to follow, and I think you'll all succeed. Do a great job. I must add, there is no substitute for commitment and hard work. So if you ask some of the gurus, what are the basics of success? They will say hard work, and hard work. So unless you work very hard, you're not going to get there. Choose a mentor who can guide you in your career. Find people that can inspire you. Become entrepreneurs. Success as an entrepreneur can be both emotionally and financially very rewarding. Remember that Microsoft, Apple, and Google were once, which are the three most valuable companies in the world, were once startups. So create a Google. All of you can do that. Go out there and conquer the world. Because you have the ability. You have the best of education. Your director who is very committed. You have this lovely place called IIT Bombay from where you will graduate. So I have no doubt that each one of you has great capacity, great ability to build a great institution. And lastly, I would like to say, be a good global citizen. Display integrity. Display humility and respect for others. Be warm and make the world a better place. With these few words of advice, I have now got to close my address. And once again, I would like to thank IIT for inviting me. The 4 years that I spent on this campus in Powai were the glorious years, and I can never forget them. I had a great time, beautiful place, beautiful friends, and the career was built because of IIT Bombay. So all of you have the basics, you have the foundation, build on it, build the tallest skyscraper in the world. My blessings to all of you.
Thank you, Dr. Kanodia, for that wonderful and inspiring talk. I'm sure our students have gained valuable learnings from your powerful sharing. I request Professor Chaudhary to please come forward and felicitate Dr. Kanodia. Thank you, Professor Chaudhary. I now request Professor Ravindra Guri to please make his presentation on regular giving.
Good evening. Thank you for that very nice advice, message to all our graduating students. Dear students, it's time that we reflect back on several things that you learned here while you are at IIT Bombay, your experiences that will stay with you for a lifetime. I can say this with 100% confidence because I myself am an alumnus, 1985 chemical engineering, and to this day, the time that I spent in Hostel 4 and in the department are something that continue to stay with me, my connects with all my batchmates, and then subsequently of being on the faculty with all my students. These are connections of a lifetime. And this is really something that you will cherish as you go further into your individual professional careers as well as in your personal lives. Let's just pause to think why you first came to IIT Bombay. Okay, you were selected through a very grueling joint entrance exam for the undergraduates, for a relatively tough GATE exam and PhD selection process for the postgraduates. You came to IIT Bombay because you trusted in IIT Bombay as an institute of excellence for the undergraduates to lay a very strong foundation in your individual disciplines. For the postgraduates, you were convinced that you could carry out outstanding research, whet your appetite for research, come up with great innovations and help them grow, do outstanding work. Now, IIT Bombay has been a destination for you because over the years, what IIT Bombay has achieved is something that you very strongly believed in, and it looked forward to this kind of an experience when you came in here. It's a matter of great pride. All of you must have already have heard about this, that in the recent QS rankings, the global rankings, IIT Bombay jumped 18 spots from 2022 to 2023. We were 65, ranked 65 globally in 22, and we jumped 18 spots to end up at 47 in the 23 rankings. Now, this is obviously a matter of great pride. And how did we achieve all of this? I mean, if you just stop by to think, how did we achieve all of this? All of this was because of our strong focus on excellence along various facets of teaching, research, translation of our research to create that societal impact, and going forward, be of value to the nation, in nation building, in various different ways, both generating very, very competent professionals like all of you, creating products for the society, creating innovations for the society, and going and adding that value to nation building, which has made what India is today. Right? Now, how did IIT Bombay get all of this? One is, of course, we had governmental support. But more importantly, IIT Bombay is today a brand, and the reason it is a brand today is because of its alumni. We have about 70,000 alumni globally who are, as Dr. Lalit Kanodia pointed out, at very, very leading positions both in academia and industry globally. And this has created IIT Bombay as a brand. So when you go out into the profession at large, if you say you are from IIT Bombay, you are respected. You are coming from a brand that has been globally recognized as a symbol of excellence. Right? This is what IIT Bombay is today as a brand. And if you just look at the IIT Bombay where we are today, it just kind of repeats what I just said in terms of how we have grown over the last several years. I would say we started in 1958. We are 65 years young as a university, ranked number 1, a first choice for students at every level, undergraduate, postgraduate, masters and PhD level. We are, of course, a force to contend with as far as our student strength is concerned. Over 13,000 students, a large group of 700 plus excellent faculty, number 1 choice as far as employers are concerned. Again, we are that because of all of the great work that students such as yourselves have gone out into the profession, made an impact, and the employers feel that they should come back to IIT Bombay to hire all of you. Also, in terms of how we have grown as an institute, we have expanded, we have added a lot of new departments, a lot of centers of excellence, several schools, several interdisciplinary programs, reflecting the global technology trends. This is where we are in terms of the institute. We are also an institution of eminence, as all of you know. 2018 we were recognized as an institution of eminence, the first 2 or 3 institutions that were recognized as an institute of eminence, which brings us a lot more funding, a lot more autonomy in the way we want to grow, but also matching responsibility to generate matching funds. Going forward, we would like to continue retain our competitive advantage nationally but also globally. So if you look at where, if you step on the two slides further, our 2030 aspirations are, and I would like you to view that from the right to the left, we would want to be somebody recognized as an institute that is a leading global engineering and technology institute globally, contributing quite significantly to the national economy, society, as well as a global player in all the products and innovations that we develop. Nurture this culture of innovation and excellence. I talked about excellence in teaching, excellence in research, but also innovations, producing a lot of innovations, a fountainhead of innovations. This is what IIT Bombay should be in 2030 as our 2030 aspirations look. But there are already significant signatures to indicate that we are there in terms of the number of innovations that we create. And by doing all of this, be a top world-class institute, which we already are, but strengthen our position as a global institute of excellence. So IIT Bombay in 2030 is all that we aspire for. In the next slide, in 2030, we want to be amongst the top universities in the world, driving world-class research, establish centers of excellence. The reason I say centers of excellence, in addition to the traditional departments, is nowadays all global problems, all challenging problems do not come with a tag of a particular discipline. They are interdisciplinary in nature. Centers of excellence is something that drives interdisciplinary research. We'd like to have several centers of excellence trying to solve complex problems. If you look at the ambience that we have, the ecosystem that we have at IIT Bombay, both in the hostel area as well as in the academic area, we would like to be providing a world-class experience to all our students, both in the academic area as far as their academic experience and learning is concerned, but also in the hostel area where you network and you build connections for a lifetime. We would like to also contribute to the national economy, the startup ecosystem, Atmanirbhar Bharat and all of that, the national innovation and innovation policy, establish a strong industry collaboration, and also build a financial resilience for all of this. This last point is very, very important. We as IIT Bombay are what we are because A, governmental support, B, we receive very good support from our corporates, but the most important one is all of you who would very soon be alumni. Alumni over the several decades have been very, very strong stakeholders. They have supported us in every possible way, in participation, by finance, and in many other ways as stakeholders in the Institute's phenomenal growth that we have seen so far. And I would like to invite all of you graduating students to be partners, join the family of alumni, and be able to give back, contribute to the Institute's growth, so that the Institute in 2030 and further would continue to be a place where innovations thrive and we strive towards excellence. So this is our aspirations. If you go to the next slide, I just want to paint a picture to you as to what does an alma mater give, and more specifically, what does IIT Bombay as an alma mater has given to you. If you look at the cost of education, we talked about IIT Bombay being a globally ranked institution. We have broken into the top 50 as far as engineering and technology domain is concerned, which is what we all are. We have broken into the top 50. We have been recognized as an excellent institute. But what does it cost to do that? And if you look at the annual budgets, if you go to the next slide, you compare the annual budgets of other reputed global universities like MIT, Stanford, Harvard, the Caltech, the California Institute of Technology, and several other such global institutions. If you look at those and you compare the budget of IIT Bombay, you see that the annual fees is much, much lower. So what we generate in terms of excellence, our innovations and the like, if you compare that per unit currency, we are doing far, far better than all global universities. But more importantly, if you look at the national and versus the international, when you compare these two, the cost of education that you pay versus the cost of spend that is the institute and the nation spends on you. If you look at the next slide, the cost per price, the cost of education in IIT Bombay is a very, very small component of what you pay as compared to what you have got. And the figures there are quite illustrative of what you have paid. You as students have paid approximately 2 lakhs per annum, whereas the institute and the nation has spent to the tune of approximately 9 to 10 lakhs per annum per student, right? So if you look at all of this in terms of what the institute has given you, the institute is really, if I would like to borrow a phrase, institute is really like a kalpa vriksha. It has sheltered you, it has nurtured you, it has helped you to grow, it has given you quality education, it has built you into a fine young professional who is willing to embrace the challenges out there in the profession, right? This is what the institute has done. In fact, even when I graduated in 1985, this is what the institute gave me, and I continue to admire the institute for all it has been doing. It is time for all of us to start thinking about how we need to give back. So that's the next slide, giving back to the alma mater. This is one way by which you can pay back to the institute. Now, why do you have to pay back? If you look at what the institute has been able to give for you as a kalpavriksha, it is again because of the sustained support that the alumni of the institute have contributed. They have, through their contributions, nurtured the growth of the institute to where it is today, and we would like to grow even further. We would like to be globally one of the best universities in the world. If we have to do all of this, we need to establish the financial resilience for that. Even a kalpavriksha, if it has to grow and continue and have its ability to nurture the next generations, it is time that it has to be watered, it has to be given fertilizers, it has to be given support, right? And this is what is the urge to all of you, that you have to give back to your alma mater for its ability to nurture the next generation of professionals who would go and contribute to the profession at large, both for nation building as well as to solve global complex problems. So giving back to the alma mater in spirit is something that all of you must carry in your heart, because just for this reason that it's basically a mechanism for sustainability, that for generations ahead of you, the ability to nurture is sustained over several generations into the future. Let's pause to look at some of the recent philanthropic support that we have received from alumni. If you go to the next slide, you see Abhay Pandey, you see the Saraf brothers. They have contributed to the establishment of an HSS Annexi building, where the economics, the HSS, as well as some of the new applied artificial intelligence related research would be carried out. You look at some of the contributions for the micro factories. Now, all of you might not have seen this, but in Hostel 7 there is a micro factory which basically provides a completely different experience to the first year students as they come in. They get to use 3D printing, the latest in the technology, laser drills. In fact, if you saw one of the outcomes of the first year students' experiences, they were able to navigate along a robo along a particular path. If that's the experience they get at their first year, look at what they would be doing in the second, third and fourth years. And this is the basis for the IIT Bombay being a fountainhead of innovations. Now, this was established through a very generous contribution by two of our alumni, Sumit Nagar and Balaji Srinivasan. Likewise, you see there is an example of Raj Nair, who has contributed to the Good Manufacturing Practice Lab, which is a bio Healthcare Translational Research Lab. There is also the Design and Making Lab that is contributed by Deepak Satwalekar. All of these are very illustrious alumnus of the institute. If you look at the next aspect, the renovated Hostel 5, some of you from Hostel 5 would have seen this. Additional study rooms, toilet blocks, these are all built, contributed to, designed and commissioned by alumni. If you look at the other examples, and I think I'll not go through all of them, I'll just take the names of those. The Rahul Bajaj Technology Innovation Center through corporate support. You also have the Executive MBA by Shailesh Mehta, who was a distinguished alumnus of ours, and the Project Evergreen. If you visit the campus in about 3-4 years from now, you will see a completely different ambience where Hostel 8 was. There will be 3 new hostels, Hostel 7, Hostel 8, and a new women's hostel, all of that coming there in what's called as Project Evergreen. Again, contributed to by alumni, both from fundraising, from the design and from the construction point of view. So this is where alumni have been very, very strong stakeholders in the institute's growth. And I would like to welcome you, I invite you to join that elite band of alumni who would basically have done this. Likewise, if you see the recent philanthropic support on the next slide, you can see some of the other philanthropic support from in terms of the faculty chairs, in terms of the student scholarships, in terms of the young faculty awards. The student scholarships some of you may have received from the alumni. The young faculty awards is to attract the top in class faculty. Likewise, the endowed faculty chairs to establish excellence in research in various themes. Likewise, on the next slide, some of the other recent philanthropic supports towards research programs. All of this is enabled by very, very strong support from the alumni. And typically what we also do, on the next slide you see we create a donor wall every year, which basically recognizes the various contributions that we have received from our alumni. This lists the top donors. Yes, I would invite you to please give a big round of applause to all of these top donors who are basically our alumni, who have been very, very strong stakeholders in the institute's growth. So I would like to summarize with a very nice quote from none other than Narayan Murthy. He says, and I quote, "Nobody is bothered about an institute more than its own alumni." Students, very soon you will be graduating, you will be getting into the profession, you will be embracing all the challenges at large. You have built the competencies by going through the institute and learning from all that the institute had to offer. As you go ahead, I urge you to give back, simply because we need to sustain the ability of the institute to continue. Just like a Kalpavriksha, we need to make sure that a Kalpavriksha retains its ability to nurture everyone. I would invite you to contribute to the institute, to basically be able to nurture its ability to nurture the future generations of all students such as yourselves. Thank you very much for listening to me, and I urge you to please join in this drive for giving back. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Guri, for that very insightful and engaging presentation. We are pleased to have with us the undergraduate representative for the batch of 2023. An undergraduate representative serves as a liaison between the student community and the college administration. To hear their journey at IIT Bombay would be something most of us could relate to. I would now like to invite Ms. Kirti Agarwal, a dual degree electrical engineering student, as the undergraduate representative for the batch of 2023, who will be sharing her experiences of the past few years at the institute with the audience. I would request Ms. Kirti to please come up on the stage and express her thoughts with us.
Good evening, everyone. Before I start, I ask you to heed my words. They come from my heart, you see, as I wrote this speech myself and not ChatGPT. I, Kirti Agrawal, stand before you today filled with gratitude on behalf of UG graduating batch of 2023, who will soon become proud ambassadors of IIT Bombay. The fact that we all are sitting here, despite all odds and uncertainties, on the brink of getting graduated is in itself an achievement for us. I want to thank the Institute administration and staff for keeping our spirits high, working tirelessly to ensure that we sail smoothly during the unprecedented times and hearing our concerns, with IIT Bombay being one of the first campuses to be rebooted. We have abundant intellectual capital in form of faculty members committed to creating a dynamic learning environment for us. We thank you, our dearest faculty, for imparting us valuable education. I also want to express gratitude to our alums and seniors for providing their constant guidance. Most importantly, a big thank you to our families, our biggest supporters, nurturing us right from childhood. Our journey has been incredible, which has tested us at every step, challenged us in unusual ways, and transformed us in ways we could have never imagined. IIT Bombay has been a dream for most of us, which kept us motivating during the JEE days. Today, we have fulfilled that dream, and we stand here as confident, capable, and accomplished future leaders ready to take on the world. Let us take a moment and reflect upon the first day we came to campus with our parents, who were pumped up with pride, and we were in awe by the beauty of the campus. We started our journey at this very place with day-long orientations, tired but excited about what's coming next. As we were sprinting through our journey, the pandemic hit, and a 2-week leave transformed into an year. We longed for Insti, Boathouse, Shiru Cafe, and much more. But we are one of the lucky batches we get to experience offline again, with a newly found appreciation for offline classes and meeting friends. As we reach the end of our phase, I'm sure all of us will miss the time we have spent here, be it main gate ki chai, H2 ki tadka Maggie, or taking pictures of the beautiful sunsets. We'll miss the struggles of making it to 8:30 AM lectures while Mumbai was drowning in heavy rains, pulling all-nighters before exams, submitting assignments just in time, and of course, how can we forget ASC crashing right before registration. Now, it brings us to an end of Agla Sem Fodenge. If something has taught me perseverance, it's the fact that I've never faced more rejections than Mumbai auto walas. Keeping jokes apart, while we did take away a lot of learnings, one of our key takeaways is the friends we made during this time. Friends for life and millions of memories with them. They are the ones who made the campus home for us, and it's these friendships that I'll cherish the most looking back. Let us promise ourselves we'll stay in touch with the ones sitting next to us right now and soak up every moment of campus left with us. I guess that's my time. Class of 2023, it's been an absolute privilege and honor to study alongside such talented individuals and to spend my beautiful years of life with you. From the bottom of my heart, I wish you all the very best for your life ahead. Let us end with a huge round of applause for ourselves and our family and everyone who has been a part of our journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirti, for that heartwarming speech. I'm sure your fellow batchmates could relate to many of the memorable experiences that you've shared with us today. We now have with us the second guest of honor for today, Mr. Karthik Ganpati, who is a renowned entrepreneur, co-founder, and vice president of BillDesk. Mr. Ganpati is a well-respected figure in the fintech industry, having co-founded one of India's leading payment gateway companies, which has revolutionized the way people transact in the country. I would like to invite Mr. Karthik Ganpati on stage to please share a few words with the audience.
Thank you very much. A very, very great thank you to esteemed director, chief guest, and the rest of the faculty. And also a very, very warm welcome to all of you. The speech Dr. Lalit did before me, the first one, literally blew me, and I don't have really anything more to tell all of you in terms of what you should be doing, what you should be looking out for, and so on and so forth. So I think it might be a nice way to maybe conduct this. I'll switch the pattern and just keep a very, very short introduction that I had and a bit of what my experiences in IITB were. And then I'll leave it to the audience to ask me any questions that they feel that could be relevant here. If that works for everyone, then let me start. I think all of us have congratulated all of you, but I think you guys have to really give a very, very loud round of applause for yourselves. What you've achieved is truly remarkable. The 4 or the 6 years that you've spent at IITB are indeed going to be the ones you will remember for the rest of your lives. And believe me, it's not going to be about your grade point average or the hits that you got from a particular course not going well and so on. It's going to be those night outs that you did, the chais that you had, or the trips that you went down to the Kanjurmarg and watched a movie and so on. That's what is going to be the ones that you will remember. Personally, the only time I came into this auditorium, this convocation hall, in those days it wasn't so plush as what you see. There used to be wooden boards and there used to be a very large screen here. PAF used to be done in the same place. But what we used to use this convocation hall very, very much was Friday evenings. We used to all sit down here in front and watch a movie. And believe me, if you see Never Say Die Again or any of those James Bond movies on the big screen, it's just absolutely outstanding. I have absolutely no doubt that all of you are tremendously equipped to handle all the uncertainties and the challenges that life will throw at you. A few words around my own journey as an entrepreneur and a fellow engineer. After completing my electrical engineering, I straight away went in for an MBA. A lot of you will have several options in front of you. Some of you might be thinking of wanting to go abroad and take a higher education. Some others might have already got jobs. Some of you might pursue an MTech right here on campus. Or some of you might be thinking of starting on yourselves. I know the world has changed, but one really serious input that I would have is that you should get experience. You should get experience in a large, good organization that allows you to understand how org dynamics work. To me, the stint that I had after my MBA at Arthur Andersen, the 5 years that I spent, literally it was more like 10 years that I spent, given the number of hours I had to spend and the kind of night outs that I had to do there. But they were a very, very strong back or a background or a block for me to start off my own venture. All the things that Dr. Lalit said also happened at the turn of the millennium. The internet had just opened up and a lot of companies were really struggling to find ways and means that they could channel and leverage that medium. And it's around that time that 3 of us, 2 others from the same organization, including myself, we took a plunge and said, we need to do something. We didn't want to continue to do the kind of work we were doing, which is write reports and keep giving assessments to companies. And our only thought was that given the economic environment, a lot of which Dr. Lalit spoke about now, it's different now. But in those days also there was financial sector reform, IT was just opening up, there were banks and financial institutions that were implementing a lot of technology, they were doing a lot of investment in technology, and therefore we clearly saw that in the next few years there would be need for services that could ride on top of the technology. A very important input that I would think you should take away from all this is that the big picture is very important. You have to look at, in any situation, you have to look at the big picture and the way the big picture is giving you trends, it is giving you directions. And then when you look at the detailed picture, which you all are extremely adept at, clearly, because you're from IIT, then you are able to put the patterns together and then look at opportunities that are coming up. So this is an important thing, and India today is at a position of absolute strength, and the next 15 to 25 years are ours, and therefore you have an enviable position and a tremendous opportunity to leverage that. In terms of my own journey, I think I was lucky, because the word fintech had literally not been invented in 2000. There was a lot of time for us to think, do a lot of things, but it was equally tiresome. Like Dr. Lalit said, at that time when he started off, there was no venture capital or no private equity, but when we started off, nobody was willing to lend money. We took about 4 crores that we got from our first set of investors and made it last for almost 5 years. After quitting my job in 2000, it took me about 9 years to get to the same salary that I used to draw when I quit. My first overseas trip after graduation was instant. Within 3 months, Anderson sent me abroad and I had a great time enjoying Chicago and all the other areas. But after I quit, it took me 12 years to make enough money to be able to go abroad. Entrepreneurship is very, very challenging. It sounds very sexy and nice and all that, but it is challenging. There's a lot of personal sacrifice. There's a fear of failure. And it's just not about grades mein fat gaya, that kind of failure, right? The fear of failure it's a very different kind of fear. It's nagging. It keeps eating at you. And if you're working in an organization, you care 2 hoots about if you lose a proposal. It might be $1 million proposal, but you really don't. You will feel a bit sorry about it, but that's it. But when you are a startup, when you start something, it's your baby. You start feeling everything that's going on. A competitor launches a product, you are worried. You actually sink low, and then you have to come up. So what is really needed is you have to have tremendous enthu. The word enthu is an IIT Bombay word, and I'm pretty sure all of you use it quite often. But that is what you need. You need to bring in that energy, and don't lose it ever. IIT B, each one of you has that enthu and that energy. And that energy can take you a very, very long way in your job, in your research, because even research is tough. Like Dr. Lalit said, why can't India create cutting-edge, deep research? We should. You guys are the best minds. And therefore, all this requires passion and energy. Having said all this, the rewards of coming through the entrepreneurship journey and seeing your ideas take fruit, come to life, and building a successful business are incredibly joyful and satisfying. You get a lot of aukad, okay? If you've really done it, there is tremendous aukad. Of course, in the first few years, and then the next few years, and then the next few years, count them as 15 years, I was always behind. It was in the sidelines. I could see my batchmates, both from IIT as well as IIM, buy good houses, afford foreign jaunts, buy paintings, live in the best part of town, But of course, internally in my mind, I was just focused on getting something out. And after a point in time, it never really became a monetary objective. It was more that I'm doing something I like and I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And success just came as an outcome of all that. I have tremendously enjoyed the freedom and flexibility that comes with being my own boss, as well as the opportunity to pursue my passions. So this is the best part about being on your own. Some of my experiences in IIT Bombay, there is not a day that I don't remind myself of how lucky I am to have been in IITB. And as an alumnus, clearly I have gained a great deal of wealth and knowledge and experiences that have shaped my personal and professional growth. So I remember one of the key values instilled in my second semester at Hostel 5. And in those days, the format wasn't like how it is today. The freshers used to be assigned to the hostels. And therefore, we would have a batch of about 300 freshers, say, and 40 to 50 of them would get assigned to each of the hostels. And you've got to live with the seniors. So you get into a hostel and the seniors are just waiting for you. Basically, obviously to rag you and to just look at the parade, right? What kind of guy or who's coming? And they're all from different parts of the country. So you would have a Bihari, you would have a South Indian, you would have a Maharashtrian, you would have all of them, right? And all of us are, as you're aware, there is no diction, there is no polished English or whatever. It's a lot of fun. But then one of the traditions used to be that after the parade, the seniors would select you and put you into the wing. And then you are to stay in the wing. And to this date, Hostel 5, 156, the last room there, it still bears KG, my initials. This was rammed into the door by one of my seniors. But you're then trapped. You're asked to get into the wing and then you have to contribute to the wing. I mean, that's the principle. Now I remember the first semester was entirely about having fun and you know all the things that happen in the first semester. And obviously grades slipped. So you come in with like super expectations and then the first semester is really a, eye-opener. How less you know, how good the others are. And so in the second semester, I decided that I will just put my mind to focusing on my studies and that's it. Nothing doing. And you know what my senior told me? He said, and I said that I'm not going to stand for the elections, the hostel elections that typically start from the second semester. So his advice to me was that if you think that you're going to be just studying here and not doing anything else, then IITB is not the place for you. You get out. It was a very, very important learning. And then I started understanding the kind of experiences that my seniors were having. And this guy in particular, he was a comp science third year guy. He was a topper. He was a dramatics champ. He was a tennis captain of the institute. And he used to never study. And then I learned that there is a process. You don't have to be always at your study table trying to crack something. If you do a lot of other things over and above what you are doing as your core, it actually adds to you. And therefore, the whole balanced approach to life is a very, very important learning that I got upfront. And that semester, I became the literary secretary and I also cracked the 9-pointer that semester. I was very happy. The next few years were very interesting at IITB. They went really like a breeze. By the time I had already understood how to crack the exams without really putting too much effort. Sorry to the faculty, but that quickly got me onto the management side of things. And that's how I entered and went through an MBA. One of the other things which I would advise is that sport is a very, very nice thing that IITB encourages. And this I am stressing not just for everyone, for the guys and the girls. Pick up a sport and stay with it or cultivate many more for the rest of your life. There is tremendous joy. It gives you a different kind of adrenaline rush. And believe me, in moments of stress, when you are thrown curveballs that you think you're not going to be able to easily handle, going into that is a tremendous degree of satisfaction. Another valuable lesson in IITB that I kind of took, and it's helped me greatly in my professional career, particularly even in my entrepreneurship journey, is to learn to take help. Many a time, we hesitate to ask the other person for help, or we try to say that, look, I have to do all this by myself, and therefore let me only do it. At IITB, collaboration and mentorship are very, very key components, and students are encouraged to seek out guidance from peers, from faculty, and from alumni. This willingness to learn from others and ask for help is a very, very valuable trait. And this is the gyan that I have actually got from my clients, from the employees, and from all the other stakeholders I interact with, and that's really helped me in defining better workflows, better processes, better products and services at BuildDesk. Another crucial trait I would think is confidence. Somebody spoke about last minute preparation for exams and the ability to do all-nighters and crack it and so on. This mastery actually gives you the boldness to just go and attack any new problem and win. The idea is not to just attempt something, but to actually go and crack it. This ability to focus and perform under pressure is again a very, very valuable asset in entrepreneurship. Another aspect is that in IITB, you're surrounded by very, very high achievers and professors with great knowledge. They're truly exceptional and are characterized by the humility and their ability to place others over self. I have tried to emulate this trait and recognize that in everything I do, there is room to improve and do more. The lessons that I have, etc., I want to just simply skip because a lot of it got covered in the earlier sessions. In conclusion, I want to congratulate all of you once again on your achievements and remind you that your journey is just beginning. The world needs your talents, and I have no doubt that you will make a great difference. Always remember that success is not about just achieving your goals, but also the journey that takes you there. So you really don't have to be too worried about thinking what will be the end outcome. The journey itself is fun, whatever you do. If you don't like to do something, don't do it. But be committed to whatever you have decided you want to do. As I end, I would just like to probably quote Robert Frost, and it's been a great inspiration for me. The road not taken, the last 3 lines, right? 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Thank you. So I know this was quick, and if anyone has any questions, happy to kind of take them. Okay, thanks. Dinner time.
Thank you, Mr. Karthik, for the lovely talk. I request Professor Chaudhary to please come forward and felicitate Mr. Ganpati. Thank you, Professor Chaudhary. We shall now proceed with the award ceremony for the recipients of the Outstanding Contribution Awards. I first call upon Ms. Vivitsa Jain, the Hostel and Department Affairs Core Team member of the Student and Alumni Relations Cell for the academic year 2021-22, to please join us on the stage. I request Professor Chaudhary to please come forward and confer the award on Ms. Jain. Thank you, Ms. Jain. I now invite Mr. Naresh Balamurugan, the Design Core Team member of Student Alumni Relations Cell for the academic year 2021-22, to please come up on the stage. I request Professor Chaudhary to please confer the award on Mr. Balamurugan. Thank you, Mr. Balamurugan. Next, I invite Mr. Shiven Raut, the Design Core Team member of Student Alumni Relations Cell for the academic year 2020-21, to please join us on the stage, and Professor Chaudhary to confer the award on Mr. Raut. Thank you, Mr. Rao. Lastly, I now invite Mr. Priyam Vijayvargiya, the Hostel and Department Affairs Core Team member of the Student Alumni Relations Cell for the academic year 2021-22, to please join us on the stage, and Professor Chaudhary to confer the award on Mr. Vijayvargiya. Thank you, Professor Chaudhary, and a big congratulations to all the winners. Similar to the undergraduate representative, we are honored to have with us the postgraduate representative for the batch of 2023. As a representative of the postgraduate community, they will provide us with valuable insights into their institute journey and share their thoughts on their experiences at this esteemed institution. I now request Mr. Shikhar Tandon, a Master of Business Administration student at the Shailesh J. Mehta School of Management, to please come up on the stage and share his journey with us.
Dear faculty, honored guests, and fellow graduates, it is with mixed emotions that I, Shikhar Tandon, student at SJM SOM and PG nominee in the Institute Sports Council, stand before you as the PG representative as we bid farewell to our beloved institute, IIT Bombay. I am happy and honored to have been a part of this ecosystem, thankful for all the experiences and memories that this place has given me. But I am also sad. Sad because this has come to an end. Sad because I might not get to experience this ever again. Those late night long walks with friends, enjoying the cool breeze on terraces, munching at late night canteens, and finally sleeping at dawn and still managing to make the 9 a.m. lectures. Rushing in between lectures to Crescent for Bhaiya ek chai, ek vada pav, and then cold coffee at Gullu for lunch. I think we've all been there, and I know for sure that we'll all miss this. The hot days are a bit hard to get by, but the evening breeze here, coupled with watching sunsets from hostel terraces, has always managed to bring a sense of calm in me. I'll also miss the time spent in hostel common rooms where we had never-ending random conversations and shared laughter that made our friendship a little bit more special. I remember watching Chichore and thinking, wow, this is how college life should be. Cut to a few years later, I was taking part in the GC and also got to be a part of the council that actually managed the GCs. I feel blessed. I'm amazed by the infrastructure that this place provides. This is also the year when our fests returned to offline mode in their full force, and what fun it was to be a part of them. There's so much happening here that for an older PG student, it's impossible to catch hold of all the events and still manage to keep the energy to dance at the end of the day. But we danced and sang our hearts out. The kind of exposure that these events have given us, be it sports, cultural, or technical, is unreal. Thanks to everyone involved for making this switch back to offline mode happen. To the faculty and staff, we express our heartfelt gratitude for your tireless efforts in guiding us through our academic journey. You have nurtured our minds and inspired us to pursue our dreams with passion and determination. To our families and loved ones, thank you for your unwavering support and encouragement. You have been our pillars of strength, and we would not be here today without your constant love and support. And to my fellow graduates, congratulations on this remarkable achievement. I know for sure that you'll all be doing great things in life and will keep uplifting the reputation of this institute. I hope we'll maintain its legacy and make each and every person who is a part of this very, very proud. Finally, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to IIT Bombay for shaping us into the individuals that we are today. This institution has given us the knowledge, skills, and values to make a difference in the world, and we are proud to be a part of the IIT Bombay family. Thank you and farewell.
Thank you, Shikhar, for the delightful sharing. As you all know, staying connected with our alma mater is a crucial part of our personal and professional growth. That's why the Student Alumni Relations Cell at IIT Bombay plays a vital role in nurturing this relationship. I'm honored to invite Mr. Naman Agrawal, the overall coordinator of Student Alumni Relations Cell for the academic year 2022-23. Under his leadership, SARC has achieved tremendous success and growth over the past year. I'm certain that his insights into SARC's activities will provide us with a glimpse of the tremendous work done by the team. So, without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Naman Agrawal to provide us with an overview of SARC's initiatives.
Hello everyone. As a representative of the Student Alumni Relations Cell IIT Bombay, it is my pleasure to address you all at this Institute Valedictory Function. SARC was established in 2008 to promote and foster alumni engagement with the Institute. We are an independent body and a student-run organization that is a crucial part of the Dean ACR office with the sole mission of strengthening ties between student, alumni and the Institute. We are a body of the students, by the students and for the students. SARC connects with students even before you enter the ITB campus by conducting student alumni meets that are conducted in various cities across India where you connect with alumni to get a peek into life at the institute. When you enter IITB and imbibe the vastness of the campus, SARC conducts the institute's largest crypt hunt, Sarcasm, which helps you know the institute in its culture and our lovely institute lingo, which also building new friendships and win exciting prizes. An alumnus is a student's best mentor. With this in mind, SARC organizes various events to help students boost their careers, helping them through the stressful internship and placement season to ensure that they were well prepared and are ready to ace the interviews. Finally, we savor the sentimentality of your institute journey through yearbook, institute valedictory function, and most awaited class song. With that, I am pleased to launch the first screening of the class song of 2023.
दबी दबी सी हंसी होठों पे फंसी है, गुदगुदी कर रही हवा, हल्ला मचा रही है पागल सी ख्वाहिशें, खुशियों की मिली है वजह। कुछ है जुनून सा, कुछ पागलपन है, सौ बातें करता ये बुद्धू सा मन है। कुछ है जुनून सा, कुछ पागल मौला मौला मेरे मौला मन मत वाला क्यों हुआ हुआ रे मन मौला मौला मेरे मौला मेरे मौला किस तरफ है आसमान किस तरफ ज़मीन खबर नहीं ओ जब से आया है सनम मुझको खुद की भी खबर नहीं ओ होश गुल सपनों के मैं बांधू पुल आँख कब खुली खबर नहीं ओ किस तरफ है आसमान किस तरफ ज़मीन खबर नहीं मेरे मौला मौला मेरे मौला मन मत वाला क्यों हुआ रे मन मौला मौला मेरे मौला मेरे मौला Dance with me baby won't you dance with me all night won't you party 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 won't you burn the floor all night
Not your life, wanna not your life. Do you feel alright? Wanna not your life?
Dance with me baby won't you dance with me all night won't you party 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 won't you burn the floor all night प्यारे प्यारे लम्हे प्यारी प्यारी बातें सपनों के दिन हैं सपनों की रातें
वो गूंजे हैं दिल के तराने मचले हैं गीत सुहाने
बहके हैं सारे दीवाने तो नचोले नचोले all night
लड़की
Where's the party tonight? Somewhere down the road. Where's the party tonight? On the dance floor. वो सपनों के दिन हैं, सपनों की रातें. Where's the party tonight? Dance with me, baby. Won't you dance with me all night? Won't you party, party, party? Won't you burn the floor all night?
Not your life, wanna not your life. Do you feel alright? Wanna not your life?
I ain't too sure what I believe in, but I believe in what I see. And when I close my eyes, I see my whole life ahead of me.
These are ours. This is our time.
This is our time.
These are ours. Out on the verge. Out on the verge of the rest of our lives.
Rest of our lives.
Well, I'm sure it made all of you dance, but just one small disclaimer. The one that you see Dean ACR office on the right, it's not Dean ACR office, it's all their job. Yeah?
Hope you all enjoyed this musical celebration of your college memories. You experienced all this as a student till now, but now you are graduating and will soon become the proud alumni of IIT Bombay. SARC will be there to keep you connected with our beloved institute. College life के बारे में सही ही कहते हैं, वो दिन भी क्या दिन थे. And we at SARC helps you relive these golden days through our IIT Bombay's only student alumni fest, Illumination. This 3-day fest consists of 25 plus events that serve 10,000 plus students and 60,000 plus alumni every year. Although, कोटा फैक्ट्री के मीना ने बोला था कि दोस्ती कोई रिवीजन थोड़ी है जो करना ही है, but we at SARC make ensure that आपका ये रिवीजन होता रहे हर साल by conducting batch reunions every year and publishes the monthly alumni newsletter, The Knowledge Tree, to keep the alumni connected to their alma mater. So whenever you visit the institute, we will always be there to welcome you and emphasize about your fond memories and moments. If I were to describe SARC in a line, it would be Insti ke saath bhi, Insti ke baad bhi. With this, I would urge the entire graduating batch to stay connected to the institute and keep contributing in any way you can. Congratulations to the graduating batch of 2023. I wish you all the very best. Thank you all.
Thank you for the splendid presentation, Naman. We're almost at the brink of the end of IVF. Now, I would like to invite Professor Suryanarayana Dola to please deliver the vote of thanks.
Good evening. I was told actually students are very active in the evening, but when I say good evening, nobody is responding. Okay, it's my honor to be present in this August gathering and celebrate the Institute's valedictory function. I congratulate all the winners of the Outstanding Contribution Award, and I would request all of you to applaud them once again for their contributions to the Institute. And I would also like to applaud, I would also basically request all of you to applaud for yourself for actually going through the process and actually trying to graduate, and most of you will be actually graduating very soon. As we conclude today's proceedings, I would like to recognize the contribution and efforts of many for their commitment, hard work and foresight, all of which have been instrumental in the smooth execution of today's function. I would like to begin with thanking our esteemed alumni and guests of the honor for today, Dr. Lalit Kanodia and Mr. Karthik Ganapati. It is always wonderful to have you on campus. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with our students, whom I am sure will take away many learnings from your shared experiences. I also take this privilege to thank all the dignitaries for their gracious presence. I would like to thank students from the SARC. Your keen and spirited involvement truly made today's occasion delightful and memorable. Many thanks to the UG representative, Ms. Kriti Agarwal, and PG representative, Mr. Shikhar Tandon, and of course, the star of the day, Naman Agarwal. I would request all of you to give a big round of applause. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank all the graduating students for their enthusiastic presence, patience, and participation. Finally, I would like to add that an event of this dimension requires the wheels to be rolling months in advance. We have been fortunate to have the constant support from CDEEP team, PA system, nursery, the Dean ACR office, and the DRF staff members for their tremendous efforts in curating today's events. Please join me in actually thanking all of them. Once again, thank you for your presence. I wish the class of 2023 all the very best for this new chapter in your lives. I hope you have an amazing rest of the evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. On that note, we conclude the formal segment of the valedictory function. Now, I would like to request the dignitaries to get seated in the front row of the convocation hall. We will soon be beginning with the informal segment of the Institute Valedictory Function. So kindly be seated in the convocation hall. हाँ पी लो। नहीं 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 मत लो। यही होगा, नीचे बताना है। I would like to thank all the dignitaries to grace us with their presence. Now, I would like to call upon the stage my fellow co-team member Priyank to take over the proceedings of the informal segment of the valedictory function.
Thank you, Priyanshi. Guys, we'll play the class song in the end once again for all of you. Okay. So, we shall now commence the informal segment of the valedictory ceremony. Gear up for some music, dance and poetry by some of the best in the institute. The memories that you have made here are going to stay with you for the rest of your lives. Ram Ratan has tried to put these memories into words. Let's welcome him for a heartwarming poetic performance.
नमस्कार। ये शुरू करें? देखो ऐसे ऊर्जा फील नहीं आ रही है। पूरे 4 साल ये दुविधा रही कि पहले प्यार को लाऊं कि कॉलेज को लाऊं, लेकिन अभी थोड़ी थोड़ी क्लैरिटी आ गई कि पहले कॉलेज को ही टिका देते हैं। तो उसी पर है, एक कविता है। मेरा नाम है राम रतन तालनिया। वही कविता आपके साथ साझा करने जा रहा हूं कि अब ये सफर समाप्त होने जा रहा है, कि अब ये सफर समाप्त होने जा रहा है। जितना भी था कम ज्यादा पर्याप्त होने जा रहा है। जो कॉलेज कभी थी फरियाद में, कि जो कॉलेज कभी थी फरियाद में, अब रहेगी किसी अच्छी सी याद में। जहां मस्त था जिंदगी का हर एक पल, अब छोड़ना पड़ेगा वो अपना प्यारा हॉस्टल। भले ही रहने को मिल जाए अब कोई महल, पर ये पुराने खंडर याद बहुत आएंगे कल। कि याद आएगी वो कैंटीन में बिताई हुई रातें, वो दोस्तों के साथ की हुई फालतू बातें और वो जीपीएल में खाई हुई लातें और वो क्रश के साथ हुई थोड़ी बहुत मुलाकातें कि याद आएगा ये हॉस्टल, ये समीर, ये इन झीलों का ठंडा नीर, ये एलएचसी, ये मेस का खाना, ये ओल्ड शेक, ये जिम खाना। याद आएगा, याद आएगा वो सन्नी मदिरा का कुआं, याद आएगा वो हॉस्टल 17 का धुआं, याद आएगी वो H17 की छत और वो मेन गेट के चाय की लत कि जब भी आया था कोई एग्जाम, एक रात पहले याद आ ही जाता था कोई नाम, घूमना रात भर यहाँ सरेआम, अब याद आएंगे वो दोस्तों संग लगाए गए जाम। आखिरी 2 पंक्तियां इस कविता की कि यारों इस जिंदगी के गम में, किस जिंदगी के गम में थोड़ी सी खुशियां आबाद रखना, किस जिंदगी के गम में थोड़ी सी खुशियां आबाद रखना। हम साथ रहे ना रहे, कि हम साथ रहे ना रहे, पर हम यारों को भी याद रखना, याद रखना। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। अब थोड़ी प्यार पे आ जाते हैं। कॉलेज हो गया, उसके आंखों की तारीफ की जाए कि तेरी आंखों में छुपा है जो वो नशा बड़ा भारी है, और नजरें तुझसे ना लड़ाना ये बात जनहित में जारी है, और तेरे जाल से कोई बच ना पाए, कि तेरे जाल से कोई बच ना पाए, तू कुछ ऐसी शिकारी है, और गुनाह किसी का नहीं, कि गुनाह किसी का नहीं, माशाल्लाह तू बहुत प्यारी है, बहुत प्यारी है, बहुत प्यारे है। अब थोड़ा दर्द सा सुनाते हैं फिर चलता हूं कि थोड़ा सा हवाओं में उड़ा, कि थोड़ा सा हवाओं में उड़ा और कट गया कि थोड़ा सा हवाओं में उड़ा और कट गया, ये सफर मेरे प्यार का थोड़े में ही सिमट गया, कि अब तो बस कटी हुई डोर मेरे संग है, कि अब तो बस कटी हुई डोर मेरे संग है, और दुख ये है किसी और के हाथ मेरी पतंग है, मेरी पतंग है। धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
क्या बात है, इतनी बढ़िया पोयम, मजा आ गया। A loud round of applause for Ram Ratan once again. Our next performers are 2 students who have spent their years in the institute dancing, and today might be the last chance they have to dance in the convocation hall. Let's give it up for Saksham and Divya.
की रुत और रंगों की बरखा है, खुशबू की आंधी है, महकी हुई सी। कोई जो मिला तो मुझे ऐसा लगता था जैसे मेरी सारी दुनिया में गीतों की रुत और रंगों की बरखा है, खुशबू की आंधी है, महकी हुई सी अब सारी फिजाएं है, महकी हुई सी अब सारी हवाएं है, खोई हुई सी अब सारी दिशाएं है, बदली हुई सी अब सारी अदाएं है, जागी उमंगे है, धड़क रहा है दिल, सांसों में तूफान है, होठों पे नगमे है, आंखों में सपने हैं, सपनों में बीते हुए सारे वो लम्हे हैं, जब कोई आया था नजरों पे छाया था, दिल में समाया था, कैसे मैं बताऊं तुम्हें कैसा उसे पाया था, प्यारे से चेहरे पे बिखरी जो जुल्फे, तो ऐसा लगता था जैसे कोहरे के पीछे एक ओस में धुला हुआ फूल खिला है, जैसे बादल में एक चांद छुपा है और झांक रहा है, जैसे रात के पर्दे में एक सवेरा है, रोशन रोशन आंखों में सपनों का सागर, जिसमें प्रेम सितारों की चादर जैसे झलक रही है, लहरों लहरों बात करे तो जैसे मोती बरसे, जैसे कहीं चांदी की पायल गूंजे, जैसे कहीं शीशे के जाम गिरे और छन से टूटे, जैसे कोई छिप के सितार बजाए, जैसे कोई चांदनी रात में गाए, जैसे कोई हौले से पास बुलाए, कैसी मीठी बात थी वो, कैसी मुलाकात थी वो, जब मैंने जाना था नजरों से कैसे पिघलते हैं दिल और आरज़ू पाती है कैसे मंजिल, और कैसे उतरता है चांद जमीन पर, कैसे कभी लगता है स्वर्ग अगर है तो बस है यहीं पर, उसने बताया मुझे और समझाया मुझे, हम जो मिले हैं हमें ऐसे ही मिलना था, गुल जो खिले हैं उन्हें ऐसे ही खिलना था, जन्मों के बंधन जन्मों के रिश्ते हैं, जब भी हम जन्मे तो हम यूं ही मिलते हैं, कानों में मेरे जैसे शहद से खुलने लगे ख्वाबों के दर, जैसे आंखों में खुलने लगे ख्वाबों की दुनिया भी कितनी हंसी और कैसी रंगी थी, ख्वाबों की दुनिया जो कहने को थी पर कहीं भी नहीं थी, ख्वाब जो टूटे मेरे आंख जो खुली मेरी होश जो आया मुझे, मैंने देखा मैंने जाना वो जो कभी आया था, नजरों पे छाया था, दिल में समाया था, जा भी चुका है और दिल मेरा है अब तन्हा तन्हा, न तो कोई अरमा है न कोई तमन्ना है न कोई सपना है, अब जो मेरे दिन और अब जो मेरी रातें हैं उनमें सिर्फ आंसू हैं, उनमें सिर्फ दर्द की रंज की बातें हैं और फरियादें हैं, मेरा अब कोई नहीं मैं हूँ और खोए हुए प्यार की यादें हैं, मैं हूँ और खोए हुए प्यार की यादें हैं, मैं हूँ और खोए हुए प्यार की यादें हैं। खोए हुए प्यार की यादें हैं, दिन दिन तक तक दिन तक दिन दिन तक ता ता तक दिन दिन तक तक दिन तक दिन दिन तक ता ता तक दिन दिन तक तक दिन तक दिन दिन तक ता ता तक दिन दिन तक तक दिन तक दिन दिन तक ता ता तक दिन दिन तक तक दिन तक दिन दिन तक ता ता तक।
चोरी चोरी चुपके से आके मेरी आंखों में समा जा, धीरे धीरे सपनों की सुनी सुनी दुनिया बसा जा, चोरी चोरी चुपके से आके मेरी आंखों में समा जा, धीरे धीरे सपनों की सुनी सुनी दुनिया बसा जा, ऐसे सताना हारी मैं हारी, ये तेरी बातें झूठी है सारी, ऐसे सताना हारी मैं हारी, ये तेरी बातें झूठी है सारी, चोरी चोरी चुपके से आके मेरी आंखों में समा जा, धीरे धीरे सपनों की सुनी सुनी दुनिया बसा जा, चोरी चोरी चुपके से आके मेरी आंखों में समा जा, धीरे धीरे सपनों की सुनी दुनिया बसा जा।
ये जिद है बुरी कोई रिश्ता
दिल धड़के तेरे जैसे ही होते हैं यहाँ क्या सब लड़के हाँ तुझको कसम मेरी हाथ छुड़ा के अब ना जा धीरे धीरे अपनों की सोनी दुनिया बसा जा से आके मेरी आंखों में समा जा धीरे धीरे सपनों की सुनी सुनी दुनिया बसा जा चोरी चोरी चुपके से आके आंखों में समा जा धीरे धीरे सपनों की सुनी सुनी दुनिया बसा जा
Amazing, wasn't it? A spectacular performance indeed. A huge round of applause for Saksham and Divya. There is nothing quite like the sound of a flute that can transport you to another world. And that's exactly what our next performer is going to do. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our next performer, Keshav, for a captivating performance.
हेलो, सबसे पहले तो सारे गुरुजनों को प्रणाम क्योंकि उन्होंने सब में पास कर दिया और फिर उनको प्रणाम जो इस सारे जगत के गुरु है श्री कृष्ण भगवान को प्रणाम श्री कृष्णम वंदे जगत गुरु। मैं केशव चतुर्वेदी फ्रॉम डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ मैथमेटिक्स आज फ्लूट बनाने जा रहा हूँ। Hopefully this is not my last performance at this corner. Let's enjoy together. एक बार चेक कर लेना।
Wow, Keshav, you truly brought the flute to life. Let's have a burst of applause for this work of art. People might have come to IIT Bombay for academics, exposure, maybe even the beautiful campus. But what you'll all be leaving with will be friendships. The friends who carried you when you were drunk. The friends who were always there for you, be it day or night. The friends who over your course of degree became family. Here's a toast to those friends who can never be replaced. Let's give it up for a musical performance by Karan and Priyam.
Na 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 ra, na 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 ra, na 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 ra, na 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 ra, na 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 ra, na 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 ra, na यारों जी भर के झील पल लगता है आजकल दौर अपना आएगा यारों जो खुद पे हो यकीन तो जिंदगी हंसी तुझे कल बुलाएगा यारों जी भर के झील पल लगता है आजकल दौर अपना आएगा यारों जो खुद पे हो यकीन तो जिंदगी हंसी तुझे कल बुलाएगा है जुनून सा सीने में है जुनून सा सीने में है जुनून सा सीने में है जुनून सा सीने में
तो यार ये सेगमेंट बहुत स्पेशल है क्योंकि जब हम लोग बहुत टाइम बाद कभी मिलेंगे तो उसके ऊपर कुछ लाइन्स है सॉन्ग की
कभी जो मिलेंगे रास्ते पल में ही चमकेगी हंसी पुरानी तो कहो क्या कहोगे फिर हमें कैसे छुपाओगे पलकों की नमी वो कभी जो मिलेंगे रास्ते पल में ही चमकेगी हंसी पुरानी तो कहो क्या कहोगे फिर हमें कैसे छुपाओगे पलकों की नमी ये बता है क्या हुआ है क्यों बता यारों अपने हिसाब से दिल की किताब पे कुछ तो नया लिखो यारों अंजाम की फिक्र ना करती ये उम्र तो क्यों बरा डलो एवरीवन है जुनून सा सीने में है जुनून सा सीने में
So hello everyone, I am Karan Daya. He is Priyam Vijayavargiya. This is probably our last performance at IIT Bombay and I'm really emotional at this moment. And the next song is very special to me. and I hope you all will love it. हम रहे या ना रहे कल कल आ मेरे संग चल कल ये हैं प्यार के पल चल आ मेरे संग चल चल सोचे क्या छोटी सी है जिंदगी पल मिल जाए तो होगी खुश नसीबी हम रहे आना रहे कल कल याद आएंगे ये पल It will be great if you can just wave your flashlights. पल याद आएंगे पल चल सोचे क्या छोटी सी है जिंदगी पल मिल जाए तो होगी खुश नसीबी शाम का आंचल छोड़ के आई देखो वो रात दीवानी आ लिख दे हम दोनों मिलके अपनी ये प्रेम कहानी हम रहे आना रहे कल कल याद आएंगे ये पल ये हैं प्यार के पल चल आ मेरे संग चल चल सोचे क्या एवरीवन छोटी सी है जिंदगी पल मिल जाए तो होगी खुश नसीबी पल रहे या ना रहे याद आएंगे ये पल Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. You are a lovely audience.
What a lovely performance. I guess some of us got goosebumps. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a huge round of applause to all of our students for their tremendous effort. On that note, we come towards the end of today's special occasion. PGs can proceed towards Gulmohar lawns and UGs towards Kshitij lawns for t-shirt grafting and dinner. There are some fun activities and games planned that you can enjoy as you have dinner. We wish you all the best for the life that lies ahead of you. We are playing the class song for the last time.
दबी 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 सी हंसी होठों पे फंसी है, गुदगुदी कर रही हवा, हल्ला मचा रही है पागल सी ख्वाहिशें, खुशियों की मिली है